Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in.
She has a wonderful personality. She really does.
You are listening to Talking with Gloria.
Let's take a walk on the wild side.
With your host, Gloria Ponziano.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. My name is Gloria Ponziano, and you are Talking with Gloria. And I am so proud that this is my very first show on TalkWad Network. And if you haven't checked them out, be sure to go to www.talkwadnetwork. And again, I'm Gloria Ponziano, and joining me today for my very first show in studio is Mr. Stan Pittman of Hope Children's Home. Hi, Stan.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. I am so proud to have you in the studio because I've done a lot of research on Hope, and I'd like you to tell our listening audience a little bit about how it started, because it started in 1968. That's a long time.
Right, it is. We've been, as you can tell, we've been here for 44 years. It's been different names over the time, but it's been Hope for a number of years, maybe 20 years. And but we started in 1968, and I just did a tour this morning, and our first building that you stand in front of was the only building at that time. Everything was done in that building. Everything happened in that building. The kids were there. The food was there. The offices were there in that one little building. Now we have 40 buildings, and we have 45 or 55 acres if you count some adjoining property that's there. It was started by a man named Dr. Ronald Schaefer, and then they had Lindy McGowan, Dr. Lindy McGowan. Everybody calls him Dad McGowan. He was one of the first parents. Him and his wife were the only parents at that time. And we've just grown from there. We've had children all over the years. About 6,000 children have come through our home in those 44 years.
Let's talk about those children. What kind of children end up at Hope?
Well, the main thing, what we see, and you could see this on our website, what we see are those that are neglected, those that are abandoned, those that are abused. Those kind of things is what we usually see, and people come because of that. We've got a number of different, the stories are so varied that you could hear, but a number of them are there because their parents are either in jail or there's some problem with drugs or something. A lot of them are there because of the family situation overall. But we don't have anybody that is there because of they're in trouble with the law or anything like that. Most of it is just they need a place that is stable and secure. And most of their lives have not been that way.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed when I went to your website, when I first decided that I wanted December to be a month that is all about giving. And so I wanted to select charities that touched my heart in a very deep way. And when you and I spoke, you were telling me about some cottages that you were trying to build. And because you wanted to make sure that these children had a little bit more of an intimate relationship, and more of a family feel than just being in an orphanage.
Sure.
And that is so key and important. Talk a little bit about that.
I think that is what makes our director, Dr. Mike Higgins, that's what he thinks. Because let me give you a sort of an idea of what we do. We have dorm situations right now. There's a girls' dorm and there's a boys' dorm. They're together in school and they're together in sports and all that, but we just have them in two different places. Well, the cottages are made, they're being built. We have one right now that's been open now for 4 months, and we'll give you more information on that. But that is a place where we only can have 12 children. That's it. That's the number of children that we have in there, and they are normally siblings. We have 10 in our cottage right now. We have a brother that's got 3 sisters, and then a brother that's got 2 sisters, 2 different families that now live under one roof. So they have a home now. Mm-hmm. It's more of a home instead of a dorm situation. And there's a couple of teenagers that were in the girls' dorm that help in there, and one of them has been at our home for 11 years. So this is
Amazing.
her first, I guess, real home that she's had in those 11 years.
Now, this isn't a home where necessarily the children are adopted out, though.
No, it's not. I always get those questions, and I wanted to make sure I had the right. We're not an adoption agency, as it were.
Even though you get infants in.
Yes, we do.
Mhm,
We have a new family, and one of 'em, she was 4 weeks old when she came in. But
Do
we
we have a picture of those, Stan?
no, I don't think
Okay.
we did.
All
I
right.
wanted you to have one
All
of those,
right.
but I didn't
We'll
think
be
we
showing
did.
you some pictures from time to time during the show of Hope.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see what's going on out there. And we do encourage you to check their website at Hope. I believe it is hopechildren'shome.org.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
That's
go
us.
ahead. I'm sorry.
As we talk about the cottages, and we talk about the in that cottage that we have now, and it's called the Karen Sanders Cottage because they were the people that helped us to build the cottage, and he named it after his wife, and she's still around, and so that worked out real good. But it's called the Karen Sanders Cottage. We have those families, plus we have the little 2-year-old that is part of. No, the 1-year-old is in there, and the 2-year-old's in the dorm, but that's part of that young family that we got in. And then Belen, who lives there, she's been there 11 years, and Dixie's one of the teenagers. So we have 10 in there now. We can have 12, but we have 10 in there now. They all eat around the same table. They all watch TV together. It's a family, and that's what we want to do. We want to, the Lord willing, we want to build 6 total cottages. And a cottage, can I mention this right quick?
Sure.
I mentioned it to you the other day. A cottage seems like to me a little bungalow, little small thing. No, our cottages are 3,800 square feet on one floor.
That's a house.
It is. It is
On
a
one
big
floor?
house. Yes.
So
And
you
then
have two?
Upstairs there's 1,900 square feet. Most of that right now is for storage, or for, and we may talk about this later, some of our graduates that have graduated, if they come back for any given time, we can have a place up there for them to stay.
Oh,
so it works
okay.
out for them too.
Now, how many children do you have right now?
We have right at 60 children, 65 children right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And obviously, the whole purpose of the December charity is for people to learn about different organizations that are out there. And there are so many. I don't have enough airtime to put them out there.
True.
But children is, I mean, we think about Christmas and we think about children and we think about our own kids. And I know with my children, when they were growing up, my grandchildren and friends of mine who have kids, they just give and give and give so much that they literally wonder how they're going to outdo themselves from what they gave last year. This is a perfect opportunity for you, our listeners, to say and teach your kids a really good tradition and say, okay, we're going to pick an organization each Christmas year and we're going to either get involved, buy some gifts, and let's talk a little bit about some of the needs, because I printed it out and I will have this on my website and I will also have it on my Facebook for those of you that are tuning in. Some of the immediate needs that Hope needs. So why don't you talk about that, Stan?
Okay. We have, as you said, we have this particular needs list that we always have on there. We call it prayer needs, but there's always something that has to do with food. As you could imagine, when you have that many children, 3 meals a day, and all the things that are involved in that, then you're going to have needs. And in the past, we've had people that come in and just bring boxes and bags of food that they alone gathered. And then you have businesses and schools and churches that will have a canned drive or something like that. But as you said, this list that we have, as you look down the list, you see
even baby formula.
Oh yeah, now especially when we have the new baby, there are a lot of things that have to do with babies where normally
Diapers.
We wouldn't have that. Right. They're all, very important. And so you get a chance to, if you desire to know a more streamlined list, or you want to know more specific, then that's why we print this out. Or you can print it out, or you can see it on, as what you mentioned.
On my website or on my Facebook, or also you can see it on Hope's
By all means.
website as well.
Yeah.
So you can print that out. That would be a great thing to do with your family, to print it out. Go to Hope children'shome.org and print out the immediate needs. They also have needs for some volunteers. I mean, you can volunteer out there. I'm so excited because I am going to make a trip out there.
Sure.
By the time I was preparing for all the different shows and needing to meet with the different organizations that I wanted to have on, I didn't get a chance to come out there, but that is on my January list, is to
Good.
come out there and visit.
Love you.
Tell me some of the things that I might see when I'm out there.
Ooh, wow.
What's going on out there?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. To answer the volunteer, that we've got volunteers out there right now. We have a group that comes, and sometimes I was telling Gloria earlier, we may have a mom and a child, and their children.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come out. Maybe we have a little area that they can clean up, that they can do something in, and that kind of thing would be fine. And then on the other hand, maybe on the same day in the same property, we could have some very skilled men out on, like today. There's somebody out on the roof, putting a roof on one of our houses that has been leaking. We have 40 buildings, 45 acres, 55 counting the adjacent property. So there's all kinds of needs on any given day. And that's why sometimes I almost sound too general. Are there needs? Oh, yes. And you could look on our website. You can call. You may look on there and say, I just want my little group to come. Well, call us. Let us look on there. Let us try to find that thing. And there's always something that you can come and be a part of. And we would love to have you do that. Just the only thing we ever ask, as has been said, we have children.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make
I'm
sure.
showing a little bit of a slideshow
Yeah.
here, so if you want to jump in and tell us anything or continue talking, but I'm going to be showing our listeners
That's good.
just some of the things that some of the pictures that you brought with.
That is
So-
actually, this is interesting. That is actually the seniors that we graduated this past year.
Really?
All of those are in college right now as we speak.
Wonderful.
And they'll be coming home, as a matter of fact, on the 14th. And home is Hope Children's Home.
Oh,
And so we're going to go pick them up. And most of these right here are in Pensacola, at Pensacola Christian College up there. And we're going to pick them up, bring them home. They'll have Christmas with us. We take them back because we're home to them.
oh my.
And so that's the ones that we just graduated this past year.
That's what we got here.
But
What is
again,
this?
that's the cottage. That is our
Oh,
newest cottage
wonderful.
right there. That is the Karen Sanders cottage, and it that shows you 3,800 square feet,
Yeah.
and all of the property is similar to that as far as the trees and the landscape and the things that are there. And it's got a park out in the front of it. Again, that was donated, that the children might have a place to play, and that others can go and just sit and watch them play. So it's
Wow.
right out in the front. I don't believe I had a picture of that. That's the children that are in the cottage right now, even as we speak. They're the ones that live in the cottage, and the man and the lady are the ones that gave us the funds that we were able to build that cottage.
Look at those precious faces.
Yep, that's them.
That would have nothing if it weren't for Hope.
That's true.
Wow, and I love that. Were you called something else before you were called Hope?
Right.
Did you mention that?
Yeah, just before Hope, the last one was called Faith Children's Home.
Okay.
We went to pick up some gifts from a place the other day that wanted us to, and all they know us as is Faith. And so they won't even say it's Hope, but it is. It's Hope Children's Home. Yes, that's our gym right there in our school.
My goodness, that's
Yeah.
like any high school
It
gym.
is. We have sports there. We have girls volleyball, boys and girls basketball, and they're getting all ready for the season. And they play different schools, different teams. It's not just a little neighborhood team. I think it's a very good sports program there.
And this is all 100% run from the donations
Yes.
of people that give.
Yes, we receive nothing
No
from
government
no.
funding whatsoever.
No.
Wow, that really has to make your dollars. I mean, when you give, and anybody that knows me and's been listening to Talking with Gloria for any length of time, you know that I am a huge believer in giving. And whether you have money to give, you have time to give, you have prayer even to give to organizations such as what we're talking about today. And you have to kind of, this is really fun because I never got to do anything like this on the other radio stations that I had. So I'm getting to play with a little bit of technology here. Let's continue on with a little bit of the slideshow, and you can kind of tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay,
This
That's just a we're further away on that one, but that's the
Okay.
boys' dorm. That's
Okay.
where the boys live, and,
Okay.
and the school is right over there in the top right hand corner that you see of it. That's our school building.
Okay, and let's see what we got here. Is that the entrance?
No, that's just another way to see the boys' dorm.
Okay.
It's from another.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll get
but
away from the
that's
boys'
fine.
dorm
That's
if we
fine.
can here.
That's actually out in front of my house. We all live on the property where we work, and that's just a little pond out in front of the house. That's what I was telling you about the 45 acres and how beautiful it is. That gives you an idea. That's out in front of where we are, and up behind that is where the girls' dorm is.
Well, Stan, why don't you tell us where you're located at?
Okay, we're at 11415 Hope International Drive in Tampa, Florida. We're right near, a lot of people know, of course, where Gun Highway is and where Citrus Park is. We're in the Citrus Park area. It can easily be found. We're between Linebaugh, and I know I came out Linebaugh to here. We're between Linebaugh and Gun Highway. Very easy to find. And yet it looks like you're just going to a dead end out toward a subdivision, but then you go down past our guard place, and we're in there, and it's beautiful. There's a school class being taught, even as that's up in our library. If I could, let me just give you a little information about the
Sure.
library. There was a Eagle Scout that had a project that he had to do in order to become an Eagle Scout. He came to Hope. He saw the what we had as far as the library, and it wasn't that good. He went to IKEA. He brought all of the shelving that you see. He came there with some friends, put it together, and even donated many of the books for his project. And we have a little plaque over there that says that he did that. So that's the kind of
great.
things we get.
And that's just goes to show you there really is no end to the ways in which people can
Right.
volunteer,
There you go.
ways in which they can give, ways in which that they can either give of money or just donate. Donate their time. Let me grab another one here and just see what we're playing around here with. Tell me what this.
That's our seniors again.
Okay, I must have grabbed the same picture or one very similar.
Yeah, they
to
just
it,
had
so-
them jump up and took a picture. They
Okay.
have good. That's actually the boys' dorm, and these are some of the boys that won particular certificates from something that they had done. But this is inside the boys' dorm and in their kitchen. I wish you could see the whole kitchen, but it was a white room. That's all it was. And a church came in and said, we got to do something for this. And you see what they did. They made a paneled wall. They've got deer heads hanging up.
Oh,
They have all
definitely
sort of
made
things.
it a man cave, didn't
Very
they?
much so. Yes, they did. And all the boys eat in that little.
Well, that's
cafeteria
important.
right
That's
there.
important for guys. You know,
sure.
they have to feel they have to have their place, just
Definitely.
like girls like to have their place.
And they
And
love it.
and I am grabbing these at random,
That's
so
fine.
we'll see what we're looking at here.
That's
Aw.
Belen. She's the one that's been there 11 years. And she'll be graduating this year. She's also in the dorm. She's one of the in the cottage that helps out with the house mom there. And she's been there 11 years.
So her whole family is you.
Yeah, that's it. You're
Aw,
exactly right.
Bless her
Right.
heart. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Okay, there's the seniors from this past
Mhm.
year. There they are on graduation day.
Wow. Now these kids have been with you for a long, long time,
Many
right?
of them have. Yes, two of the seniors this past year were there for at least 8 or 9 years. The average used to be that kids would stay at our home 18 months. Now it's easy over 4 years
Wow.
that they're staying nowadays. It's
Where do
different.
they go if they leave?
Well, there's
Maybe their parents get their act together. Now, let's talk about that for a
Okay.
second before we go into any more pictures. You were talking to me about saying some of the kids that you get in there, their parents, and we're going to probably be seeing a lot more of this,
Sure.
but their parents simply cannot afford them. Maybe
Right.
their home goes in foreclosure. Dad has lost his job, mom has lost her job, and they've got 3 or 4 kids that they cannot support. Well, obviously, they don't want to give them up to the government and state aid. And so you hope can take them in
Right.
until the parents get back on their feet. Is that correct?
right that that is very possible because a lot of times I think the parents in a few instances do love the children. They want the best for them, and they're not able to give them the best. So we do have a family of 3, 2 girls and a boy, that fell in that same situation right there. And they could come back. And I was telling some people this morning, if they come back and they want the children back, we certainly don't say, no, you can't have them. We've
They
already
don't sign over anything?
to some extent, yes. That
Okay.
we they do sign something, but when we sit down and talk to them, we just look at the situation. Is it good? Is it good for the children? And we talk back and forth to try to make sure. And if they've done a good job and they really want their children back, we will not go against that. We want
Right,
them to
because
have 'em.
obviously it could be a situation where the parents are drug addicts or they sell drugs or
Right.
whatever.
A lot of that.
And they decide one day after a couple of years, hey, let's go get our kids for whatever reason. It's not a healthy environment.
Still a bad
So
situation.
there is a situation. So obviously you have some type of power of attorney or some
Right.
type of.
It's similar to that. Right.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is, because there is something that
Do you
is
have an
signed.
advocate or something from the courts, or would that
No.
actually entail you to be more involved in the governmental system,
Right.
which you don't want?
Right. It would be that. But over the years, there have been very rarely some adoptions, but very rarely over the 44 years.
What would make that exception?
Well, a lot of times we do have a family. We do have a couple of children that their parents were killed, and so
Oh.
they have no parents, as it were, and so we have them there, and that kind of situation could warrant. Now they're teenagers, so they're pretty. They're doing well within themselves, and they'll come on through the school and graduate. But you do have that kind of a situation where, and there's one little girl that's in the cottage. Her mom died of a drug overdose, and her dad is in prison. And so those kind of situations just does not make for a good situation for them. And then I guess that could be a possible means of adoption, but
I would
it is very
imagine
rarely
mom
done.
would have to really go through
Yeah.
a extensive amount of drug rehab,
all
and
means.
obviously there would have to be a track record of
Yes.
showing that
That's
how
the
many,
key.
she'd have to be clean for so many
Right.
years before you would be concerned that maybe she would relapse.
Right.
And I would imagine that once the kids get established in a home like Hope and establish friendships with their peers, it
Mhm.
would be very tough to take them out of that situation.
It very much so.
Yeah.
And the couple that I took on the tour this morning were talking about how well adjusted everyone seems to be, how polite and everything. So, see, they've already learned that behavior, even, and they don't want to go back into a situation that would that they would have to go back
Yeah.
and remember. So, and those situations are still out there.
Yes, they are. Now, tell me a little bit about how you go about letting the public know. How do people find out about you? I mean, do the police department know about you, or do they go strictly through churches, or how do people find out about Hope if, like, in a situation where you just mentioned 2 children who lost their parents in an auto
Right.
accident? How do they find out about Hope
Well,
without these kids getting lost in the system?
that's one of my lofty goals. I think I mentioned that to you the other day. Is I want the world to know that Hope is there because of that very reason. Because
I like that. I
Well-
like what you just said, that hope is there.
yeah, well, that's right. And
Hope
that's
is
true.
always
Hope is there.
there.
It seems like every time I write something, it always brings up Hope, and Hope is the children's home. But that's what we want. I want everybody to know, because if you know somebody that even knows somebody that falls into that situation, maybe they lose their parents, maybe they're not kept good, maybe
Right.
the family maybe they are abandoned, maybe they are neglected, maybe they are this. And if people know about Hope, then that's half the battle, because we're there and we want to be available. We have about 30,000 newsletters go out every other month. That's one way, and you can sign up for a newsletter even on our website.
Okay,
And you
I'll
can
do
get a
that.
newsletter.
And I'm hoping my listeners will do the same thing.
Please, you can do that. You can sign up, and a beautiful newsletter that comes out and gives you all the news, all the information, things that are going on. We do have numbers of churches and businesses and groups and committees and things like that know of us, and in turn, I mean, you just would not believe the number of people being private, I guess you'd say, donations that are out there that give to the cause, I think. So, and then you have the ripple effect because
Right.
if they know somebody and I just want everybody to have hope as an alternative
Right.
and say, well, let's don't put them in the state
Ugh,
situation, or
please
let's
don't.
don't do this. Let's bring them. Let's try to find something, and hope is in their mind, in their heart, on their list somewhere. That's our goal. That's our desire, because we want to give them a place. As we've talked about, the kind of children that we have that they don't have stability.
Right.
They don't have security. They don't have love, and you bring them to a place like hope, and there's where they can find it.
Yeah. What are we looking at here, Stan?
Every year, this looks like soccer practice. Every year, there's a local church that has a huge sports program, and they let our kids come over, and they have probably 15 or 20 different little soccer teams. And on Saturdays, they go over there and play games, and this is that group. That
Now, you
goes over there.
mentioned schooling quite often. Now, is your school on the premises, or do they
Yes.
go to public school?
It's right behind them there. If you could
Oh,
see that
okay.
picture.
So you have
and-
your own school there
Right.
as well.
Right.
Fantastic.
The gym is part of that you saw a while ago.
Okay. So let's drop another picture in there.
Okay, now this was at our church where all of us go to the same church in Tampa, and they actually have every year they have a Hope Children's Home Day, and we are just sort of highlighted, I guess you'd say, on that day. This is our group singing in the church on that day, and we had all kind of festivities for the day, but they do that every year for us.
Do you have any fundraisers that you ever is that ever necessary, or can other organizations have a fundraiser for Hope?
Oh yeah. Oh, by all means, that is something that is very prevalent in our support and in our donations, where they themselves. This past, I guess it was summer. There was a business that put on a golf tournament, and
All proceeds went to Hope.
all proceeds went to Hope, and we were even sitting. It was me and two of the girls there were sitting at one of the holes where they could pay an extra amount to do something closest to the pin or something like that. And we gained from that, but as well as the total proceeds from it. And that was what they wanted to do. We were their charity for that. And they've done that 2 or 3 years in a row.
Oh,
And that's
fantastic.
just one.
Well, next time you do something like that, make sure you call me, because we would love to broadcast live out there.
I can do that.
We would love it. Talking
Not a
with Gloria would be so happy, and I know Talkwad Network would be thrilled to help. Let's
Good.
take another look here. What are we looking
That's
at
the
here?
same thing. That's
Same
the,
thing,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just a outward view
Gloria
of
should
them.
put her glasses on, right?
No, you're fine. That's
well-
just one of the young men. I could tell you a story about him.
Tell me.
And he's sideways.
He's sideways.
He was when we.
Is he a NASCAR driver?
No, he must be. When he first came, his mom and he were living under a bridge, and
No.
some family knew about him, knew about us, and brought them to us. He could not even eat with a fork or spoon. He was not even sure how to do that. And I just saw him today, and he's playing and very well adjusted young man.
Oh,
Good-
gosh.
good
Isn't
guy.
that the kind of stories that you like to hear? I mean,
It almost sounds like we make those up, but those are the very
oh,
true,
listen.
real
Yeah,
stories.
this is life. I mean, this is the
Yes.
way things are. Okay, we just saw that
We
one.
did.
So let's try a different one here. And we're just trying to show our listeners. I think I'm about to put some music in there, I'm afraid. Am I? Maybe? No?
No, that's just again some of the groups that
Okay.
had soccer practice and those different things. Some of the
Oops.
older ones there.
All right. We'll try a couple more, and then we'll continue
Okay,
on
that's
with our.
fine.
Oh, we
The
just saw the
graduates
graduate
again, yeah.
Okay. I don't know here if I've run through all of them. I don't think so.
I don't know either. That's
Aw.
Emily W. There's Emily R. and there's an Emily W. And her and her brother are both there at the home. She's probably about 8 years old now. So
How long has she been there?
I think she's been there about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, and we've seen this one
Yep, the
before.
seniors again.
Well, see, I'm trying to do this without. What do we look?
Okay, this is the class where the boys are the girls and the boys are taught by a teacher on a video. from now. Most of them, some of our classes are taught the traditional way. We have teachers there that teach, but 7th grade through 12th grade mainly are being taught on the computers, right? And
like
there's
they do for a lot of college courses.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very interesting. The teachers are very good at it. It's not just some dull
And they can interact.
Yes,
Sure.
and they just don't stand behind a podium and teach. They're funny. They teach, and it's very interesting. And then there's always a monitor in the room, one of our teachers that helps. And then you'll see some of them back up, and they're working on workbooks while others are continuing to watch whatever their subject is for that time.
All right. Amazing. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Maybe the same thing.
Oh, well, that is if we
Oh.
how could we do that? That was amazing. You did good.
Huh.
Okay, there's the girls in their group, and that's probably the beginning of the day. They're probably it looks like they're pledge allegiance. I don't know how you would say that. They're saying the pledge allegiance to the flag. There you go.
They're pledging their allegiance to America.
There you go, to America, and that's the uniform.
Where we do not take the Pledge of Allegiance out of school.
There you go.
So
exactly.
we can make sure that it's there.
Amen. That's good.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to try another one here.
Okay,
Stan.
that's fine. We'll see what we've got. We just had a potpourri of pictures.
Oh,
There's
okay.
again that long view picture there.
I don't know. Should I?
You could do that. Emily and John. That I just saw Emily W. This is her and her brother.
Oh, how
and you
precious.
can tell they're brothers and sister by all means.
No kidding.
Good
How
children.
did they come to you?
I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Again, I've only been there myself just 6 months, but we're so super excited about what's going on there. And they've been there a good little while. I'm not sure exactly the situation with them, but they've been there for a while.
Well, they don't look very old, so I have to believe that if they've been there for a while, they probably came as toddlers.
Yeah, and they're probably 3 or 4 years older than that right there, right now.
And you know what's amazing about pictures like this? Kids, I mean, they can't fake that.
No.
You cannot fake that
No.
kind of happiness.
Oh,
It's
no.
in their face and it's in their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
If there was something, and I'm going to touch on something only because I want our listeners to know the credibility of Hope. What do obviously you work there and there are quite a bit of staff.
Right.
And what kind of background checks do you do to make sure that you're getting reputable, honorable people? Because we live in an age where there are so many pedophiles and
Sure.
sick people out in the world. How do we know, and how can you assure us that these children, the screening that you do for your employees, for your staff?
Right. Well, when we first came, and this is what you have to do. We came. We're from Georgia. I don't know if you noticed any kind of an accent.
No, I didn't notice an accent
Okay,
at all
well,
there.
good. Somebody asked me the other day what part of Wisconsin was I from. But anyway, we came down from Georgia to Tampa to go and get it's a life scan is what they call it. It is very involved with what they do. They take your fingerprints. They go through everything that you've been through, I guess you would say, over the years, and it doesn't take much at all for you to be rejected from coming in there. It is a very thorough check, and everybody there, from those that work in the kitchen to the house parents, especially probably the house parents, to us who work. I'm the outreach coordinator, so being out, but still we're there with the children. And so everybody in maintenance, everybody goes through that kind of a screening.
Now, what about medical care? What kind of, because I saw on your website, I believe there was even medical doctors can volunteer, right?
By all means.
So
yes.
how do these kids get their inoculations? If they, God forbid, catch the flu,
Right.
what do you do?
There's a lot of that when you figure that many children.
Sure.
Well, a lot of them have Medicare or Medicaid. I believe it's Medicaid that they would have. And on any given day, we have somebody, one of the house parents, are taking them to the doctor. And so they have to go to the doctor, and it's usually done through that. We do have some every once in a while. So
you take them to a doctor outside. You don't have.
No.
Okay.
Not on property.
So that's money.
Yeah. Well, it's not really, because when they have the Medicaid or they are giving us that. They're donating that when
Okay.
we go to the doctor, because we have on our website
But
right
isn't
now.
that from the government?
No, not from.
So
no,
that doesn't
no.
involve the
Oh,
government
no,
in any way.
no,
Okay, all right.
no. Even now, we have on our website where we would like a dentist to come out, and we have on our
Oh,
property.
that would be great if there are any dentists
Oh,
out there
by all
listening.
means.
You could donate. Oh my goodness, that would be great.
And we have a state of the art dentist room, dentist
Office?
chair and
Yeah?
everything. Yeah. It's in our school building. And they could come and they would see what all we have, and that they could come and perform some, basic things on the children. We're always asking for that. That's on a
Cleanings,
cleaning.
fillings, maybe.
Right, whatever would need to be done. Right. We have that on our Meet the Needs all the time on our website.
But if people don't know about you, they're not
right.
going to. Yeah.
That's right. If they don't know to go to the website or to hear us here today, and that's why, again, it has to be through this media as well as our own, speaking to others. So that's our desire.
Well, that's one of the things that I would encourage my listeners. If you know of a dentist or you know of anyone in the medical
Or
field,
if you're a dentist.
or
Yeah.
if you're a dentist, please contact. You can either contact me at talkingwithgloria.com, or better yet, go to Children's
Hope Children's Home.
HopeChildren'sHome.org and make sure that you contact. Stan, do you have a link on there, or can they just contact us?
It would be best to just go to that page and click on where there's donations, there's volunteering, there's Meet the Needs, there's a number of different things right on the side of the page when you pull it up, and that would tell you what you need. And then if you say, well, that's not what I want. Well, now we're talking about dentists right now,
Right.
but that's not particularly what I want. Or if you say, well, what do you need at Hope? Then call us. They could call me. That would be fine. They could just call Hope and tell them, whoever would answer the phone, what their situation is, what they want to do, and if they want to know any particular information about what about that room, what do you have there. I could come out one day a week. I could come out for 3 days in a row, whatever. And how can we coordinate that? And we will have
That's a
people
big
that can
need
do
that
that.
you've got right now.
Oh yeah, it's on our need right
Okay.
now. So it is a very serious need. Yes.
Yeah, and if we can get a dentist out there, I would certainly like to know about it.
That
and
would
we
be
could
great.
actually mention them and maybe put them on the website,
Sure.
website, and also on Talking with Gloria website. Give them a little bit of extra business. We see often we see hurricanes, and we see natural disasters taking place in Haiti and different places, and certainly within our own borders. When we just came through Sandy,
Sure.
and so there's a tremendous need in New Jersey. And one of the things that's fantastic about Americans is that we're quick to help out.
Yes.
And when I see people going to Honduras and in Haiti, we're still working in Haiti, and dentists and doctors and optometrists and different people are volunteering their time to help people, especially children who do not get this kind of medical care.
Right.
But this is something I'm pleading with the people that are listening to the Talking with Gloria show. These are kids in our backyard.
Right.
Hope is right here in the Tampa Bay area, and they need help, and they need your help. And you may not be on the national news, but you may be, or you may be on the Talking with Gloria show. But Hope could use you.
Right.
And even if it's just, if you are somebody that just wants to volunteer or purchase some clothes or come out, like we were talking prior to the show, you were talking about there are women that come in and work in the kitchen.
Sure.
There are men, carpenters, laborers that have talent in roofing
Right.
or just building in any way, shape, or form, and they can come out there and donate a day of their time.
Right.
There's always something to do at
Always.
Hope.
Always. We've had groups of teenagers, young people that would come out and just clean a little area for us or whatever that would be needed. I know they helped with. There's a road that goes back to the cottages that's just very beautiful, and they helped us with cleaning up that road. And so that you just don't ever know. Again, with 40 buildings, 45, 55 acres of land, there's always something that's available.
Even getting the grass cut, I would imagine.
Well,
would,
it's a big place.
Now you do have a couple of job opportunities I
Yeah.
noticed. You
Mhm.
want to mention those?
Yeah, I know one of the main things is house parents. We have house parent. We're in need of a house parent now. Excuse me. We have house parents in the dorms and also in the cottages. And right now we're in need of that. We have need for a clerical assistant, and it says on there what all that involves. And a maintenance guy, a young maintenance guy is mainly what we're looking for, that can just, we'd like for them to be, have some skills in certain things,
Sure.
but if they called and they really desired to want to work there and wanted and said, I can do this, I'm a handyman, I can do this, that would be available too. But right now, those three are on our.
Wow, those are 3 job opportunities right
Yep.
here in the Tampa Bay area for
Right.
those of you that are out of work and looking for work. Again, we have a maintenance man, preferably probably a younger man because
Yeah.
it's going to be quite physical, I
It
would
can
imagine,
be,
with
right.
55 acres.
At
There's a
times.
lot to do.
Sure.
For women or men. I mean, I'm sure,
Right.
I don't want to be gender biased
no.
here, but definitely clerical.
Clerical.
And
then
that's a great opportunity. And what was the other
House
one?
parents.
House parents. Oh my gosh! Now tell me what would house parenting involve?
Wow. That is, we really esteem them there because it's
They
quite
live
a
on
job.
premises,
They
right?
live on the premises. They live in the dorms with the children. Now they have their own apartment at the end of the dorms. That's where they live. Beautiful,
Okay,
nice
all right.
apartments. But they are pretty much on call most of the time. Because of all the things, I mean, you think of the number of girls that we would have, and I'm not sure exactly how many are in the dorm, but when you get up to go to school that day, hair's got to be fixed and all that stuff. So
Right.
now we have teenagers in there that help with all that
Sure.
too, but the house parents are the ones that live right there in the buildings with them.
And it's best you're looking for house parents, meaning it would be best to have a couple,
Yes,
because you need a mom and a dad
Right,
influence
right.
on these kids.
In the boys' dorm, we have two families that live in the two apartments at the end, and one of them have 4 children. They have their own 4 children,
Mhm.
and they're part of the dorm parents for the boys' dorm. And in the girls' dorm, we only have one parent, one family. It's a husband and a wife, and that's why we're looking for another one. We need
Okay.
another one for the girls' dorm.
Another set of house parents.
Right, right.
Okay, let's go a little differently. Having raised my family and obviously having grandchildren, let's get down to some interesting things here about what do you do about discipline, because these kids are growing up, and I'm sure that you have to have some issues where they don't come to you with all, oh my gosh, aren't they just so precious? Surely you need to deal with some children that might be rowdy or might be, have picked up some bad habits
Right.
maybe before they came there.
Sure.
How do you deal with things like that?
Well, it's just like, and we like to, as we say, it's Hope Children's Home. And when you have house, have house parents, the key words are that they're their parents. And so it is constantly to where, I don't mean we have problems constantly, but it is where that they handle it just as though
It was one of their
they're
children.
their children, right?
Okay.
And then in the school we have a principal. Brother Rife is our principal, and they take them to him. If there's any situations, and again, they're kids, they're children, and you're always going to find that. But I find that the discipline that we have is always just it just seems to work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't know. Again, I'm not with the children 24/7 myself. I'm there
Mhm.
all the time, but I'm out a lot. Here I am here today, and I'm out a lot. And my wife teaches K4 and K5 within the school there.
Okay.
So, but the children that those are their parents. They make the rules. The children themselves have chores that they do within the dorms and things like that are checked off every day. And
Teaches
it's just a
them
matter.
responsibility.
It's what it is. It's just a matter of responsibility. And the group I took in there this morning were amazed at how the beds were made and how nice the rooms looked. And so we have all of those things in place. But like you say, on any given time, when you have that many children together, you're going to have some discipline problems, but they're handled in a very cordial and very right way. It's just
Well, I
how
would
we do it.
imagine if you're part of a church group too, that there would probably be things handled more from I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but more from a scriptural
By all
basis as far as discipline, because we know that, I know when it came to raising my children, I raised them with a scriptural base.
Sure.
Train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're not going to get
Yeah.
off, off the
Right.
road in a ditch once in a while, but they do eventually come
Right.
back. And I know over the years, certainly when I was raising my kids, I was told, "Oh, you're too strict," and I didn't believe that. And
Right.
I think my kids are very responsible women. I'm very proud of the women that they are. But again, discipline is something, and when you say the word discipline, sometimes people's hair
Right,
go up. It's like,
exactly.
oh my gosh,
I
what are
know.
you doing to them?
Right.
And for example, when I was growing up, of course, this is telling probably my age a little bit, but when I was in school, if you did something that was wrong and you were warned, and then you got a second warning, you were sent to the principal's office, and sometimes you would get a paddling.
Right.
And
I
that
know.
was
I remember
not
that.
that was not uncommon. We all went through it, and none of us are dysfunctional as a result of it.
Right.
So I don't know if that we've got a call. We'll take that call in just a second. But tell me, I mean, the discipline, isn't that kind of based in
Sure.
that way?
Oh, sure. That is what we want to do. We try to raise them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, of course, is what the Bible says. And so we want to do that. The place in itself overall. And as I said, we all go to one church in Tampa, and even there, some of our children and some of our adults work in the church there. As far as for Sundays and things that they do. But yes, our whole desire is to train them up in that way, and we've seen it work. We've just, like you said, we didn't come out, in different ways. We've seen them go off to college and be responsible adults as we've raised them up through the years. So
Great.
That's our goal.
Well, it looks like we have a caller on the line.
Okay.
So if we'll just put the caller through. Hi, this is Gloria. You are talking with Gloria. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Gloria. This is Deborah Fortosis calling from Sarasota. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for calling. Do you have a question or comment for our guest, Deborah? Or did you
I just wanted to call in and say that I have been involved with Hope Children's Home, formerly Faith Children's Home, for about 40 years through the local church.
Wow.
And I can't say enough about the work they're doing. I was actually at the home Friday touring it.
Oh.
Then I probably didn't take you on a tour then, did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
This is Deborah.
Okay, yes.
He's been traveling too much.
I know, I'm telling you, the tours are just coming left and right. And amen, good. I'm glad you were able to
Deborah,
come
are
out.
you're the one that referred them to me, right?
Yes, I did.
That's right.
I can't
Okay.
say enough
That's
about
right.
them. It's just a wonderful, wonderful home, and what they
Great.
do for children just touches your heart. I can't listen to them sing without crying.
Oh, now see what I did, and I don't know if Stan knows this. I put it out on my Facebook just a couple of weeks ago that since I was new to the area, I wanted to bring on some organizations that I wanted to hear from my listeners. I wanted to hear from the people that follow me what they thought, because you know what they say, there's nothing better than a personal testimony.
You better believe it.
And Deborah, I mean, that came up 2 or 3 times that I needed to get Hope on here. And obviously, you were the first one. Deborah, thank you so much. And I'm sure that Hope thanks you and
Yes,
Stan thanks you
definitely.
personally.
By all means.
Even though he didn't remember taking you
I
on the
do
tour.
now. I do now. I sure do. Yes. Well, amen.
He meets too many people.
Well, that's true, but
thank you so much, Gloria, for having them on your show, and it's been awesome. I've been watching it.
Thank you so much for referring them to me, Deborah.
Yes.
I'm going to take a trip out there myself. I just seeing the pictures, it looks like paradise out there.
I'm telling you, it is.
And you know what, Deborah, while I have you on the
It'll bless
line,
you, for sure.
while I have you on the line, thank you for your support and all your contribution that you do for Hope. I mean, you're an inspiration to all of
Yes,
us.
definitely.
Perfect example of people that give sacrificially to other people, and that's what this December month is about. So thank you, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
That's great.
Yes, yes.
40
I remember
years
them
she
now.
says she's been
I know.
involved.
Yeah, that is amazing. She had come out. She has a nannies
Yes.
group, is what she does. And excuse me, she brought some of them out with her, and we went on a tour. So that's what I say. When you see the place, you're amazed.
Well, now we've got about 10 minutes
Okay.
left, I guess, maybe just a little bit. So let's go back over one more time the way that our viewers
Okay.
and listeners. That sounds so funny now saying viewers because I've been in radio long enough to know that it's just our listeners.
Uh-huh.
But now we got viewers, and people can watch this on podcast by going to talkingwithgloria.com. And so let's tell our listeners and viewers one more time how they can either volunteer or contribute or donate.
Okay.
What's your greatest need? How can we help you?
Again, and I always hesitate to be so general in that, but our goal is to make sure that we have all of the possibilities on our website so that you can look and see the ones that you need or that you can be a part of. We try to, I guess you'd say, we don't streamline it for you because we don't know who you are in that sense. But if you look through there and you say, well, I wanted to come out with, well, I did a tour recently with 70 people and, walking them around.
How does 70 people come out at one time? Is it like a church group or something?
This was actually a company that had come out. Yeah. And it was 70 people at least that I took on a tour. And so, see, they want to come out and see the place, and then they say, oh, okay, we could work in this area, we could work in this. But I always hesitate to say that because it sounds like I'm trying to push you off on something else. But it's on our website. The particular needs right now, again,
too many to count.
There
right?
are, and with Christmas, there's a number of events that are happening. Businesses, churches, companies, all these people want to come out to Hope and have a party with them.
I was just going to say, what about Christmas? How do they get Christmas stories?
Wow. It's just amazing how people come and, because they hear about us, they know this, and they want to do something for the children because that's their Christmas. That would be their Christmas. And there are places that we go. They ask us to come out to their business, and we take the singers with us. There's 2 groups of singers that go out, and they sing, and of course the people usually feed them and give them stockings or whatever presents. Maybe there's a list on the website too for Christmas needs. There's those kind of things, and then also sometimes it's just the children. There's a list of the children, and they'll give them something for Johnny, something for Bill, something for Bobby. And so they'll do that, or just simply have a Christmas party for them, And so there's all kinds of things, and that's during the month of December, which is very busy with those sort of things that are going on. And so, but if you go online and if you're not satisfied with what you see as part of the needs, or maybe you've got a particular niche that you'd like to get into, then call us. I was
just going to say, there's nothing better than coming out and seeing the place personally because you make a connection with. It's real easy to pick up the telephone or go onto a website and pull out your debit card or your Visa card and make a donation, and that's good.
Yes.
And boy, we certainly wouldn't be turning any of that down. But there's something about involvement. There's something about making a connection with people, and we have become a society. We love the internet, but the internet has also caused us to detach from our fellow man a little bit too much.
Yes.
I know people that live their entire life on the internet. They don't get off their social life. Their friends, quote unquote, friends are their friends that they have on their social media sites, and instead of actually making a physical connection. And I believe if they go out to the property and see the kids and make a connection, like you said, they may go out there saying, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do out there. But then when they look and they just walk around, I mean, I've been with people where I've gone into their businesses and thinking that I'm going there for one thing and thinking, wow, I know how to do this, and it's something completely different than what I went there for.
Right.
And I'm sure that our listeners can do the same thing if they're local to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Now, what's great about Talkwad Network is that we're global. So if you're listening to us from Australia, and by the way, I will be having a fantastic guest on in January, author Michael Rhodes from Down Under in Australia will be Skyping in with us and doing an awesome interview that you do not want to miss. So there's no limit to where Talkwad Network goes, and Talking with Gloria is tagging along right behind them. So you definitely can get, I don't care if you're in Arkansas, if you're in California, if you're in Timbuktu, you can help Hope out in any way that you can, whether through its donations or whatever. Just contact them and definitely go to their website. Again, that website is hopechildren'shome.org.
Right.
And anything that you want to ask them about, go to their contact page.
Please do. And again, where you mentioned the donations, anytime like that, it's in that list too, and it'll say donation, and it'll tell you exactly how to do whatever you need. And we also have I guess it's considered a catalog, a needs catalog. It's on the front page when you turn it on. You click on that, and you go down, and you can see particular needs that we have. How did I miss that?
I thought I covered the whole
It's the
website.
main website. When it first comes on, it tells you that that's what it is. But as you look through it, you probably don't see it, but it's actually on that front page. It's the whole that whole page.
Catalog.
Right. It's actually a catalog, and it'll tell you how to buy. It could even be something like a soccer ball, and it'll tell you, how to do that. It goes through this, and it's a wonderful way to be able to help.
Wow, what a fantastic organization! Now, I want to mention a couple of things here too for our local listeners. If you are struggling, I do a lot of life coaching, and so I have a lot of people I know that are dealing with quite a bit of pain, and they're concerned about the fact that they don't have any money for their kids, and they can't buy their kids any presents this year because they've been laid off or whatever. And this is the best gift that you can give to your kids by going out to Hope and taking your kids with them and finding a way to contribute something, your time. Bring your kids with you and let them get involved and teach your kids about giving. That is what the holiday season is all about. It's about giving.
Right.
And it's about giving of love and giving of yourself to those that are less fortunate. And you know what? I've always say you can't outgive a giver. And whatever you sow into this ministry, into this organization, Hope, you are actually, you're sowing it right back into your own life. Right. You can't outgive a giver. So this is a way that you can make the holiday season very special. And if you want to offset some depression that you're struggling with as far as not having a Christmas for yourself, then go out to Hope and have Christmas with them. Make a Christmas for someone. I believe we've only got a couple more minutes, so why don't you just tell them one more time that, I'm going to give this last 2 minutes to you, Stan.
Okay, that's fine. I certainly appreciate this. Again, as I mentioned, my lofty goal is that everyone knows about us. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you know about us, then here comes a donation. Not necessarily. It just means to me that with all the hurting children in this world that could use us, as it were. And that's why I want everybody to know about Hope. And even if you are far distances away, if you know about us, you may know a situation where we can be a benefit, we can be a help, we can be an encouragement. And then, of course, if you are in the area, call us, let us know you'd like to come out for a tour. We set that up. We bring you and let you see what's been happening at Hope Children's Home. We'd love for you to come out and understand. You'll understand more about what we do and the particular daily needs or weekly needs or whatever they would be, and we would love for you to come out. We certainly appreciate this time that Gloria's given us to be able to do this, and we just stand amazed at what God's doing out there for us.
It's just, I thank you so much, Stan,
No
for
problem.
coming on, and
Thank
I would
you.
love to have you back on again, and maybe in a few months, and find out what's going on for the summer
That
events.
would be great.
All of you have been listening to my debut show right here on Talkwad Network. You have been listening to Talking with Gloria. I'm your host, Gloria Ponziano. So make sure you check out my website, and this podcast will always be available for any time that you want to check it out. Join me tomorrow night when my guest is going to be Steve Chamberlain, what we call Steve 50 Legs Chamberlain. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 6:30. I'll see you then. You guys have been great. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Have a great day.
You pull away sometimes, and I pull away too. But I can't commit to letting you go. So as I pull, you're pulling back.